And I had another student, and she reached Harmonious TwinFlame Union, the end goal after which you still continue, but it is at the same time the end goal and the place where everything starts. Did you know that? That's where it really starts. That's beautiful. It's just beautiful. It's beautiful, beautiful. Anyway, she reached it. And then I asked her to write her experiences down. And she made a whole beautiful article. 5 things I did to reach harmonious union quickly. Harmonious union may sound, she says, like an unreachable goal for a good chunk of twin flames out there, depending on how long you are on this journey. It may seem there is only a sheer endless struggle towards it that is possible for you without ever arriving properly. But what I found is that while it is eternal of nature, it doesn't have to feel depleting or endless at all. There are certainly many different approaches out there to suggest what to do. And then there are certain things that I myself did that helped me reach union, harmonious union quickly. Allow me to explain to you how they interrelate or not as one of the elements that come forward in this article. Because, mind you, I was already on my journey for over 3 years and tried numerous of them. When I started working with Petra, I realized that while the journey is complex, the tools don't have to be. I reached harmonious union after 4 months and 4 days of dedicated work. What does harmonious union even mean? It's a deep core healing process where you start to align with your divine core frequency. That is where your true twin flame lives and resonates with you because you are one at the core. From reaching that frequency, everything on the outside will unfold in the light of your authentic self. This is where things become physical in your career, your mission, your body, and of course, your relationship with your divine counterpart, your true twin flame. So here's what I did to reach this frequency in that immensely short amount of time. One, I stopped losing myself in my own stories. In the beginning, I had the strong urge to tell my teacher every little thing about my twin flame, our story, and everything that happened to me. I thought I needed to give a proper base so I would be understood. After a while, I realized that it is important to know which stories you lived through and what to release. It is far more important to focus on my feelings. That helped me to reduce the obsession about reliving my twin flame stories, focus on the present while releasing unwanted feelings from those stories, and add healing into it, which made me move forward. Sounds genius, isn't it? While going deeper and deeper into my feelings, I felt that I lost a lot of emotional attachment to situations I previously was upset about. Every repetitive pattern has a cluster of emotion attached to it. The more you heal, the less important those stories become. Another thing I stopped doing with this was this living through my twin flame. For such a long time, especially in the beginning, I somehow needed to relate everything to my twin flame. People said something and I responded, "Oh, yeah, my twin flame also has or does XYZ." I realized that in the beginning of becoming aware that I am a twin flame, these things are maybe necessary to let you fully into this journey. But they can come to a point where you almost try to merge your identity with your twin flame, and that is another form of rejecting yourself, or in popular twin flame terms being the runner. In the same vein, it is also immensely important to recognize you are your being embodied. That has nothing to do with detaching from your twin flame or your ego telling you that you deserve better. It comes to a point where you just want to focus on yourself because you already know you are one at the core. And there's no loss if you don't constantly keep the twin flame story alive by telling yourself or everyone about your twin flame. The connection just is. And your twin flame is always there to support you to really go in and do the work for yourself unconditionally, which also means you do the work for them, for the both of you, and for your union core frequency, which is harmonious union. 2 says Anna, we're still in her article about what she experienced in my school doing the twin flame inner work, moving to her harmonious union. 2, I started feeling my feelings. While we probably all have felt a whole lot of this extraordinary journey, there probably has been also some numbing out happening along the way. At a certain point, I wanted to escape, quit, take a break, but I never got far because the universe always reeled me back in. The emotional pain was often excruciating, the joy was overwhelming. The unconscious belief is that being numb means peace. But in actual fact, being numb just means running in circles and not moving forward. On my way to harmonious union, I relearned how to feel my feelings. I learned to go deeper than emotions, which are just first reactions, mostly entrained by previous patterning. I learned which feeling is beneath it to get to the root cause of my suffering and to be able to release it. This way, avoiding to be trapped into feeling it all over again. This brought me immense peace. 3, I gave up resistance. The process of feeling your feelings will quickly also show you where the resistance really is. What I mean is that I felt I had really paid my dues with all this pain, sadness, hopelessness, and feeling abandoned. Previously, I tried all the techniques on earth I could find, promoted for twin flames. I affirmed, I assumed, I got myself into high vibrations, I detached and distracted. I did revision. As a result, I certainly felt happy a lot of the times. I can still say that feeling was genuine. There are amazing tools out there to really bring us to experience our divine being. But since the twin flame dynamic brings out every little thing that you desperately want to ignore or run from, I personally know now that these tools have a limit on the journey. There came a point at which I needed to admit that after that happiness I felt, always there came a crash, a sadness, the feeling of being incomplete, or a knowing that this is not yet truly or fully what I wanted. This made me see that I didn't want to be trapped in an endless healing cycle where I would always fall back and feel worthless because I felt incomplete. But I also realized I created a loop for myself which didn't make me truly happy. It just only created temporary satisfaction by chasing after the next result on the outside. So it started to look like true twin flame healing required even more ugly feelings to come up and not only pushing towards the next high. Why was that? Let me tell you a little secret here. When you feel through your feelings to completion, it becomes empowering. But it doesn't happen if you keep resistance to feel all of your feelings. Surely healing doesn't solely have to be the ugly, dark side. It can also entail enjoying nature, dancing in your kitchen, or spending quality time with people you love. But to only pick good feelings is avoidance and resistance. I started now to allow everything that came in. I felt overwhelming so many times, but I stayed faithful to this practice because feelings are definitely temporary, except twin flame love, because that feeling is eternal due to its divine nature. 4. I did it unconditionally. Similar to resistance, doing stuff on your twin flame journey conditionally also doesn't work. Not only your twin flame doesn't respond to any type of manipulation, but you probably also not, do you? So why do you think that moves like I heal ABC so XYZ will happen works? Did it ever on your twin flame journey? Twin flames are the definitive example of stripping yourself of any condition you placed on love, whether you learned that condition from experiences in past lives, your childhood, or from caregivers, friends, or ex lovers. The journey is here to free you to your authentic core. And recreating conditional patterns is definitively not part of that. So, within the resistance I gave up, I also gave up on controlling how everything will unfold, on how fast it will progress, on wanting to know how my twin is doing, and so on. I came back in alignment with the divine, which is also unconditional love, support, and timing. I just desire to feel free and fully love myself in my full range of being a twin flame, currently embodied on this earth. I learned to trust unconditionally. 5. I did the real inner work. I'm sure that you, just like I had, gained a tremendous amount of knowledge about twin flames from various sources since you considered yourself on the journey. The pain you may encounter after a happy start can drive us to every little corner stuffed with twin flame ideas to stop that misery. I myself, for that reason, tried many different modalities and techniques, as I described earlier. I tried to surrender to well meant advice from all kinds of corners. When I came across Petra and experienced the deep relief, the magic, and the effect that the key exercise had on me, I felt finally at home in a place where I could truly shed and release what no longer belongs to me. Twin flames are a different kind of love, of a nature not explainable with mere psychological standards. I started to understand more and more that the release had to happen on a deeper layer and that it included the conditioning we all undergo since childhood. We are, after all, being forced in societal frames, in beliefs that exist since hundreds of years in a world that doesn't operate on love. Yet we also have been given the possibility of the gift of divine love. And when you choose that, how do you fit into this world now? Being a twin flame brings you back into a relationship with God or Source, because that is the ultimate foundation of it all. I realized on so many occasions that I was really running from letting divine love in, and I merely projected that on my twin flame. In the key exercise, I found release on the divine level. I found a real connection to God or Source again. I felt more and more peace with myself, even when there were ugly feelings to be released. I felt a certain sense of security and safety. I remembered I felt lost being with my twin flame. I was able to continually let go of invalid elements of the stories of myself. I finally did not attach my worth to my healing journey anymore, but instead to my always stable core. Being in harmonious union doesn't mean you are fully healed, because it is an eternal journey. It just means you surrendered to God or Source to truly let go of what was never you, what never belonged to you. You allow the divine to work with you through a teacher and on your own. You listen to your soul beneath all the noise of the world. You let the divine finally take care of you. And lastly, it also means you are following your ultimate calling while taking bold actions. Because being in harmonious union becomes a practical matter as well. You undergo changes that allow to restore you in full alignment while creating an insanely beautiful amount of peace, love, and truth in your life. Signed, Anna, my student that reached Harmonious Twin Flame Union within 4 months and 4 days. Awesome with Daniel. Yeah.